Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today I have prepared something, a new book for you. And I hope that it will help you, really understand financial literacy to the next level. Let me do a screen share. At this moment, if it's the first time that you come to my channel, I hope that you can subscribe to the channel, really support me in this journey to increase the financial literacy around us in a sense. Okay, let me do a screen share. So at this moment, right, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, as you can see from the picture. So this is my family. So why I want to pick this book up, right, is that there is a reason, and I want you to look at this title, which is called Smart Couples Finish Rich. Why I want to introduce this book to you is because I noticed that a lot of couples, uh, they normally don't talk about money on the table, and it's become a taboo for most of us. And I didn't pick up this book initially. I actually read another book which is called by the same author. It's actually called The Automatic Millionaire. I think it's both are very good books that you should really look at it. Probably the next time I will review that particular book. But today I want to cover a few things. So this particular book, probably I will need to do two series for it. Let's see how it goes. But what I want to cover today is to introduce two concepts with you. One is the myth and the facts about how smart couples finish rich. And secondly is I want to introduce this new term called value-based life planning for yourself and your family. Okay, so the reason why am I um, recording this video, was because as you know, because of COVID-19, right, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of stress in the family situation. And this is a July 2020, which is very recent, this year in the middle of the year. There seems to be less marriages. However, there is actually more divorces in Singapore. And it is a concern, it's like, family unity is very important. It's part of nation building. So I just want to really do my part to really educate the people around me. And I actually do a search, right? It's like, what could be the potential reason globally people really go into divorce? In US, right, the common reasons are really money. And of course, US, I mean, we may be thinking that, hey, US, is Western culture. We are Asian. We are more in the Eastern culture. So we might not have the same reasons. Then I actually did a search and realized that financial issues are also one of the number one problems that cause divorce. And of course, there are the many reasons over there. But I just want to cover this specific area is really because if I truly believe that if if money can really fix this problem, right? I don't really think that is a problem. But the reason why people are not having that breakthrough in money itself, right, is not about it's really the money system or the money blueprint that they have regarding some areas about all these topics. So let me go straight into the number one myth for that I want to cover today. So now, myth number one: if we love each other, we won't fight about money, right? So you probably hear people think that, live in probably denial. It's like, oh, I love you, you love me. Let's not talk about money because of love. We won't fight with each other. Uh, I don't think it should be that way. I feel that the topic about money should be more commonly discussed over the table, but it's more where we have to really educate our children. Like I observe people telling their children that money is very difficult, money is very hard to earn. Uh, then it become a very money feels like it's very negative. But think of it this way, right? Um, this year itself, right, the world actually printed trillions of dollars. Money is not something that is very difficult because money goes to people that brings the most value into the world, right? That's why you have people who during this pandemic, right, actually grew their net worth, right, which is the rich people in a sense. So what's the fact about this money, right? Is that money has very little to do with love, right, and a lot to do with how much you fight. Think of it this way. Mm, if we have this conversation regularly, then we might have less money problem. Uh, Couple may have less problem talking to each other regarding the issues they have when they are open-minded, and even with their extended family also, right? We tend to how to shut ourselves in it and not tell our family members. It is like, I have friends who got into a marriage and they realized that their husband was into a six-figure credit card debt. Think of it, this is very shocking to the wife, and I think that we should really understand how money, what money blueprint each of your partner will have, because um, this is something that is hardly dealt with, because even our parents, our school, our family, the government don't really educate us well enough. Let me go to fact number two. Fact number two, people always believe that it takes money to make money, right? Remember, initially I said, right, people like to say that, wow, money is very hard to earn. But you think of it this way, right? Money is just a tool, right? It flows to people who create the most value out of it. So it's not something, it doesn't mean that you need money to make money. But of course, in the area of investing, yes, you probably need money to make money. But again, it takes very little money to make money as long as you are patient and disciplined, right? So let me show you some numbers over here. So if you are investing, let's say $10 a day at 5%, $10 a day at 10%, $10 a day and 15%, you can see that to get $1 million, right, it will be like 54 years, 34 years, 25 years, right? It means you need to have patience for the wealth to grow over time. According to Albert Einstein, the eighth wonder of the world is, do you remember? Okay, if you watch the previous video, you probably know that it's compound interest, right? So imagine if you can invest $20 a day at 5%, 10%, 15%, you will reach $1 million at 42, 27, and 21 years, right? You see that, of course, two components over here. One is the amount will get you faster. The other one is actually the return will also get to your 1 million goal at the earliest stage of your life. Of course, if you're investing $30 a day, which is about $900 a day at 5, 10, 15, $1 million will be within 35 years, 25 years, or 23 years and 18 years. So if you look at it this way, right, if you are very patient, right, in 20 to 25 years, right, you'll probably reach $1 million, right? If you see objectively and being patient. Of course, if you tell me that, Alvan, I want to do it within like 10 to 15 years, obviously, increase the amount, right? So it takes really a little bit of money, like $10, $20, $30 to reach $1 million. And potentially you might not even need $1 million to retire. You know, why? There are multiple reasons for it. Probably I'll share this in another day. So myth number three, we don't make enough yet to be investor. What do you think? It is only $10 a day, which is $300 a month. Think of it, it's actually possible, right? Most people cannot do it is really because they've forgotten that the number one reason they go to work, right, is they need to pay themselves first, right? What we normally do is we pay different brands, we pay our vendors, we pay the government. It's like tax is something that the government will take, right? Even before you start the year, they will tell you that this year, how much is your tax based on your projected income last year. So uh, tax is something that we will constantly need to pay. However, we do, so government will get paid first, and then all the other companies that you are buying into, right? Let's say a mobile phone, your subscription, etc., or even a cup of coffee from Starbucks. But for us, I feel that paying yourself first is the most important, because truth be told, everyone makes enough to invest. What do I mean by that? So I'm going to show you this table, right? Okay, on the left, you can see the monthly income for an individual, let's say is 2,000. Within 10 years, right, you could have made 240,000. Okay, 30 years, about 700 over thousands. But depending on your income level, so you can see if you are like in Singapore, right, the median income is, let's say, 5,000, right? And for an individual. So within 20 years, you could have what earn about 1.2 million, which is quite a big amount of money, right? And the question is, how are you using this money to really enhance your life moving forward from today, right? So if you look at this number, you really can make a lot of money through your work. And number four, Okay, tax and inflation are now under control. What do you think? Okay, probably in Singapore, we are having a very low tax environment because this author based his story a lot of it in US, which tax is very high. But of course, the second thing, tax in Singapore probably more controlled, but inflation unlikely. Okay, so do remember, because think of it this way, even though now is quite controlled in both end, right? It is never going to stay there. You know, it could be in times to come, like let's say COVID-19, right? Government spend X amount of GDP, which is in Singapore about 20% to 30% of our GDP. Think of it. How is Singapore government going to recuperate all this uh, tax that they have used, or this money that they have used in this period? They are going to tax us back one way or the other, right? I don't know when are they going to increase their tax, but think of it, this is what natural government will do. So moving forward, we might suffer a bit more higher tax and also inflation in a sense. So it's unlikely to go completely under control in today's environment. And lastly, right, if we don't talk about money, everything will work out okay. What do you think? I don't think so. You know, if you keep chucking things under the carpet, how does it feel? It feels like one day when it comes out, it will really blow out of proportion. Okay, so that is why I really want a lot of my friends, whether you are single, whether you are um, a couple now, or whether you are going to a new status in your life, I really think that you should start talking about this topic, about how you feel or how you value money. If the two of you don't start talking about money, you will more likely die broke. Okay, so to me, this is sound a bit like a bit drastic. Everything is extracted from the book. It's not my words. Don't fight over me. Don't argue with me. I just take it uh, from the from the book itself. And I really think that is very important. I mean, think of it this way: if my if my wife and myself, right, never start that conversation in our early 20s, right, I might not become where we are at this moment, right? I don't know whether you hear my story. At the age of 26, we actually got married. For myself, she's younger, and in 7 years' time, right, we actually paid off our property. Okay, for us, we actually targeted at least in the next 10 to 15 years, right? We actually have an objective. You know, that is why it's very important to have objective. Why do I want to pay off my property, right? Because I want to be debt free. I do not want to have any burden on me in the event of anything, let's say unforeseen circumstances. So I just want to have that freedom of moving around in that sense. Okay. So I want to introduce this new term to you. It's called value focused life planning. Uh, why I need to look at value, right, is because many of us, when we set goals, especially financial goals, right, we want to set it in a way like, for example, I want to make $1 million, right? But true enough, right, if you ask yourself, right, what's the reason that you want $1 million? The reason is really probably like, oh, I just want to have more security, or even I want to have the freedom, right? I want to have that money so that I can get things that I really want or I value in my life. Okay, like I said, why I want to pay off my debt, purely because I want to have the freedom, right? I don't want to be a slave to that in a sense. You know, like especially during this COVID-19, you know, if you lose a job, if you lose your business, obviously what's going to happen? The debt burden is going to be on you. So to me, many years ago, I realized that there is going to be a boom and bust in the market, right? And if I if I worry that in those circumstances I may not be able to service my mortgage, then I'm in deep problem. You know, I will have a lot of pressure, and I will probably make very stupid decision. You know, when I'm in high tense condition. Okay, so of course at this point, I really want you to be part of this conversation. You know, do ask me. I really want to even meet you. You know, if you are a couple, and probably want to have this conversation with me, I would love to. But if not, I'm going to share 7 rules, right, when you talk about this thing called value focused life planning, right? always ask yourself, when you meet each other, what is the true purpose of money in your life between the both of us? Okay, share is a very simple example. Elise, right? When we got married, right? She actually said something where, oh, when I have a house, what I want to do is I want to invite my friends to my place, to our place. Why? Because we will enjoy the fellowship, enjoy the fun that we can get from owning a house, right? It's not just having a physical asset, right? It's that what value do I have? What is the true meaning of owning a house, right? Or having a house in itself, or even like for me, about a car, right? For me, why I own a car, not because I enjoy driving, but because I know that car can bring me more values than in itself that I'm paying, right? But of course, I don't want to dwell too deep, but I'm going to go straight into giving you some 7 rules from the book itself. Okay, so when it comes to designing your value focused life planning, right, a few things you need to look at. Make sure your goals are based on your value. Okay, you can pick up the book and probably read. If not, you can reach out to me. I can do this exercise with you and your with your loved one also. So secondly, you make your goals specific, detailed, and with a finish line. Like for example, for me, it's very simple. When I start working in my 20s, early 20s, I actually tell myself that by 40, right, I need to be like to get that freedom, or what we call my financial freedom, in a sense where I have passive income to feed me and my family, right? But I set a very specific one, which is very detailed. What's the amount that I need, uh, at what timeline, in a sense, so that at least I know there's a finishing line, right? Of course, through the years, I will adjust the numbers, and I relook at this goal itself. I would really like to do this exercise with you. If you love to, just reach out to me. I would love to do this uh, value-focused life planning with you. And thirdly, put your top 5 goals in writing. Okay, many of us, we always think that, never mind, I just put it in my mind, I will remember. But think of it, once it's written, right, you can put it somewhere, and you can stay focused and probably do a quarterly review, making sure that you are taking steps towards it, in a sense, right? And number 4, start taking action towards your goals within 48 hours. Right? It's very important, right? The moment you write the 5 goals, go straight into it within the next 2 days. Why? Because research have said, if you are not going to take action within the 48 days, that piece of paper that you write down is going to be in the rubbish bin, in a sense. And of course, number 5, which is a number that I love a lot, which is enlist help, right? If you really need help, there are many people that can help you. It could be me, it could be your friend, it could be someone. Okay, end of the day, seek help, right? And when it comes to seek help, right, there's one rule that I have, right? It's always see what the person can deliver to you, and what are the values they can bring to you, right? Like for example, don't ask basically, if you want to be a millionaire, right, don't ask someone on the street, right? Ask someone who already earned that million, and then they will probably help you to get where you want to be faster and with more clarity, in a sense, right? Number 6, get a rough idea of how much money it will cost to achieve your goals. Remember, based on value. Okay, again, based on value. Do some calculation. Think of it this way. When it comes to wedding, right, we plan so much, right? Plan to the detail, the flower, how much does it cost? The the card, how much does it cost? But the funny thing is, when you come to marriage, right, people don't spend a lot of time on it, right? And I keep emphasizing this to many young couple. Do not just focus on wedding. It's important, right? It's once in a lifetime, true. But focus on marriage also. Why? It is not just once in a lifetime. It will take a lifetime to manage your marriage. Remember, wedding itself is very short term, once in a lifetime. But wedding itself is once in a lifetime, a very short term kind of planning. But marriage itself is a lifetime together, right? Obviously, for me at this moment, There are many areas other than financial itself, but the thing is, I want you to focus on is value focused life itself. Okay, and lastly, make sure your goals match your values as a couple. Very important. If you do not discuss about it, we will not know. Like for me, I was sharing, right? Elise wanted to invite friends to our house, and to me, it's back then I don't have that. I mean, I'm not that how to say, not that hospitable in a sense. But because of her, she's my better half, which is better than me. Obviously, now I learn to be friendlier through her, right? So in a sense, I think if she never tells me that, right, then for me, I don't have that opportunity to get to know her at the deeper level, right? How she look at money, right? We don't mind inviting people, and we don't mind like, paying for everything, but if she never tells me, and if I don't agree to it, then it's very difficult for both of us, right? So communication is very, very important when it comes to money. So I just want you all to be open about this topic about money on the table. Don't put it inside your heart. There could be some compromise in a sense between both the couple. Okay, so of course, lastly, thank you for watching until this end. And what I want to say is, if you feel that you want to have this conversation together with me, I can even invite Elise to be part of this conversation, so that you actually hear a man's perspective and a lady's perspective, right? So that be fair, right, in a sense. So come and join me into this conversation. Of course, do like this video, do help me to share, and of course comment, so that we can interact together. So see you again. Bye bye.